What's up everyone? Speedy here, welcome to this 1v1 video. First things first, we're going to be doing 2 live games, and then right afterwards we're going to be doing a bit of replay review. Let's get right into it. Alright, here we are in the first game of the video. Lose the kickoff, but that's okay. Really unfortunate that he gets the 50 there. Just a fortunate 50, but all good. That is a fantastic shot, though. Nicely done. Get the power slide cut, and then make the shot attempt there. So that's good. Come on, I'm being aggressive for the position. Pretty weak first touch. I could have actually gotten more power on that. It would have been an easier shot for me to kind of like be sure that was in the net, but still I'll get it in, so that's okay. I can see him flip to the side, so that's why I flipped right there. Nice. He's a little bit behind the play there, so he lost that kickoff. There, it's just awareness. Be kind of cognizant of which side your opponent's landing. A bit of a tougher one. He was kind of more central there. Doesn't know how much boost I have. I've got plenty. It's fake turn here. Nice, he trolled that. He honestly, he could have just been patient there and stayed with it instead of trying to flip. Once he flipped, he made himself kind of like awkward there. It's a good boost grab. It's a good beat. I didn't think he was going to get the beat there. That's well done. I should have recognized once he turned. It's an awareness thing, really. What you want to do is just to be aware of, like, once they turn and he's boosting, that's his moment of, like, full commitment there. Nice. What you want to do is get a soft touch into, like, a proper hit. Don't try to hit it super hard right away when you don't have full control of your position, because what happens often is that you're going to be kind of like putting yourself in a pretty awkward spot. Okay, dude, what are you doing? Why are you could have easily gone for the corner boost and been safe there, but you decided to turn really late. That is a crazy decision, but okay. We're trying to bump. It's going to be awkward, so he's not going to have a position you could really like shoot that from. I played that super poorly, but as did he. Nice. It's not a bad hook shot there. It's just basically like, it's just space, really. He's just giving way too much space on the play, and that makes it a lot easier for me to kind of set an angle that I want. Once again, fake kickoffs are not always effective against somebody who's expecting them. It's a good try. Alright, that's well done. I didn't think he was going to get that much power off the back foot flick. That was well done. Still got a game to go. I have a good lead, but I need to kind of just make sure I preserve that. Try to go for bump plays. Nice, dude. Good aerial. Nicely done. Also, by playing it high, it makes it awkward for him because he can't pop it above his back for it. So side flip, have to be careful there. Just take time. Yeah, decent 50. There, it's just to give myself time to get a clean possession play. That could have been in my net. It's a good shot attempt. Oh, that would have been a great shot on net, though. I actually could have shot that in if I didn't backflip flick that. Or not even flick, just accidentally backflip. Well played game, though. And that's GG. In the Rocket League match, we all fan. Nice, get the kickoff win. Okay, so there, what I could do better is instead of like kind of putting myself in that spot there, be either backboard or just be in a position where I could actually recover. There, I just didn't really have a position that could actually do anything with it, so. That's tough. That's okay, though. Oh, come on. Oops is normal, but all the other ones aren't? That's okay. That's a good shot. Too much space there, and by going for the corner boost, that just becomes really easy for him to be able to get like a hook shot, so have to be careful there. Could have grabbed the pad lane. Space. It's all good. Fun wants to be trolly, I don't really care too much. There's just too much space. Basically, I need to early child that. There's a moment of separation that could have gone, but kind of got hezzy there. Playing like a total troll. I respect the disrespect. Yeah, he's just running away with the game. Okay, shitty start for the game, but all good. I just need to make a mental adjustment, which is positioning-wise. Then flip it right. That doesn't work. This we're gonna make the off goal. That's really shitty. Damn. That's all good though. Plenty of game left. Need to get a better game going. Better. Just not giving him the space to continue essentially trolling and doing whatever the heck he wants. There he wants to play around and play his way. I will start forcing the game my way. Now that is how you do a good shot. Let's go. Let's go. Great control touch. And then great finish. Nice. He's gonna play that way, super passive, that's fine. That tells me I need to not be overcommitting in the corner like that. It's a really dumb play of me, you know. Plenty of space to work with, so we're okay here. Actually fucks it up. It's a good bump. Nice. It's a good bump. Just need to get on the board pretty early here. Winnable. Let's see. Good possession, that works. Nice. Nice. Can't be greedy for that boost. Nice. That's how he plays it. Fair enough. It's good awareness. Here we are in the replay portion of the video. Just played this game. Unfortunate loss. Actually, it was a very close game. Not a lot of goals at all. It was a 1-2 game. I ended up forfeiting at the very end because he was about to get another goal. But one of the things to learn is right away with this post kickoff position is right here. Kickoff's not really a big issue there, but it's the way I approach the attack or defense in this case. One of the things that you can do, but you have to be careful about, is going for this bump. It's just like on my screen, the bump connected more than what it actually did. It didn't really bump the way it could have. There was contact, but it was just too much or too little contact. The idea was would essentially been to bump him into the ball and pool cue the ball further out into a safer spot. What I could have done is put myself in a spot to recover. So could have put myself over here, been ready to cover for his little redirect, and have been totally fine there. So that's an example of something to kind of be aware of in terms of your options. Like if you're trying to do really desperate defense, think less desperately and more just aware of like some good options. Here, there's pretty poor kickoff. One of the things you could do differently is because of the way I flip left. If I want to flip left and push it out to the left, what you want to do is you want to be more to the right. Because what happens is like if you are, and I'm going to do this on 50% speed, if you are already here, you can see the direction of my car is facing this way, like here. It's facing more to the left, so it's biased left. If you side flip like I did left, it's going to push it more like that, and the ball is going to skim to the right there, and that's essentially what happened. If you want to be in a position where you want to flip left, like you see your opponent, and the idea was essentially like I wanted to flip left because I saw my opponent on the right. What you want to do is you want to be more on the right, kind of in a position where like this angle would have been better if I was more to the right, because then I could push the ball left and then have that potential possession play to work with. So because of that, I ended up losing the possession, and of course, like that realistically, against a much better opponent, that would have gotten me scored off there. They would have been able to play a little bit better there. That's a good bump there. That time the bump actually connected, so that's good. Opponent was pretty aggressive with some of their challenges, so I had to be like very cognizant and very careful about how I kind of placed my car. Like there, I could tell like immediately they're going to go for another shot. What he's trying to do, he's just trying to get fancy with this play, just be aggressive. I double jump there just so that way I can kind of play above the bump because I could tell I was in a position that was definitely bumpable, so I wanted to be careful there. There, played for the 50. I could tell again he's going to be aggressive on a lot of the early challenges and just kind of going. A lot of people in this rank, on most of these ranks, they typically go. You know, they don't really think a whole lot. They just kind of go. When you see that happening, take advantage of that. Your opponent's going to be pretty aggressive in a lot of cases and just single jump 50, and that'll be very powerful in a lot of cases. There technically could have gone for a shot. I like the idea for the bump, but the thing is it's too early to go for that and it's very telegraphed. So we had time to slow down. If you do it a little later, so for example, go for the bump a bit later, kind of slow down a little bit, let him kind of creep up a bit more, and then quickly jot over to the right and then go for the bump. Not this early, but a little bit more like come up here, come up here. He's going to try to creep up from this angle here and try to defend, most likely from front post. He should be front post there to defend the crossover of the ball. And so what's going to happen is if I play on the wall here and he wants to either go up on the wall, I can bump him off the wall. If he plays low, I can go for like an aerial bump. I have options there. So these are things to be aware of. If you go for bump plays, be aware of certain positions that are too telegraphed. There, it's a good touch to bring it back. Just essentially brings it back to safety. There at that point, because he's aggressive in the corner, you could recognize, like, see, this is super aggressive. And he should have scored there. He's just, again, very aggressive as a player. He's getting rewarded for just ego challenging everything. There's just too much space. If you want to be avoiding positions where they're going to challenge like this, don't be so slow. You can also remember, you can boom the ball just by pinching it. So if you come up on the ball like this, and you take a little less time, and you flip into it. So you want to do like a wave dash, where you kind of go like this, and then bam, like that. And you want to do that because what that does is it kind of just pinches the ball into the wall, and it's going to pop it out. And that's going to give you space to work with. It's also going to put it in the space where the opponent's not going to be able to reach it in time. Because otherwise, now he has this position where he can now be aggressive with the play and try to go for an aerial play. So these are things you want to be careful about. Like, realistically, you should have scored this. This was just a huge mistake on his part there. This is a poor position to be putting myself in, because realistically, he could have easily shot this front post. If he didn't miss there, he would have had the shot front post. I was trying to cover for that, but I was a bit behind the play. What you want to do is you want to be backboard and just kind of be facing kind of almost in the flow of the direction of where the ball's going. So you want to be goal side, but you want to be in a position where you can collect the ball and then flip out and then bring it into a safe space. Here, that's a good spot there, just noticing the gap there to be able to go for the shot. It's a good position to be putting myself into. This is a very positional game. Usually low-scoring games like this, which are very much not super common in ones, oftentimes in ones, it's a very high-scoring game mode just because there's a lot more time for goals. You will find that these positions are really going to matter more. So this is an example right here why patience really is incredibly important. You want to be more patient here. Don't flip out. What you want to do is stay grounded on the wall there. So on the backboard, like I was at before, don't flip, because a better opponent could have easily collected it on the ground and then brought the ball into the net easily while I was sitting there floating with no recovery at all. So it's an example of a situation where a better opponent would have definitely put pressure there. Here, just decided not to waste boost. Didn't have a lot of boost, and I would rather kind of just put positional pressure by just staying close. One of the things you want to be careful about is providing either too much space, or in this case, like, you want to be careful about positioning. So I could tell my opponent was going to be careful about the air dribbles and kind of just, you know, be semi-tentative, like not be too committal there. This is a pretty bad play on this bar. He was trying to go for a reset very late. This should have been in the net. Give yourself a tiny bit more time. What you want to do is you want to get a control touch. So you can do a power slide cut, but don't do a power slide cut into a hook shot right away. You could do a power slide cut to get the first touch, because he's back here, so you have time. And then get the hook shot afterwards, and you'll be able to get a better collectible shot. So just again, that's a game sense. That's an awareness type of aspect of gameplay or positioning where you want to be aware. So again, decision making, this is really important. Good try on the bump. Didn't get the connection with the bump, which is fine. I get a lot of the boosts, so opponent's going to be pretty low boost. Here I had to use a lot of boost because this was not a comfortable position to be in. The main thing you want to do here is when the ball's in a spot that you can cover, you want to be ready to play for it. So this is good defense here. I should have honestly been more patient. If I could flip a bit better, I could have potentially flipped into the boost and actually had momentum with the play and had like a really good offensive attack there in the corner. Because of that, the opponent had free space to be able to go for that. Nope, up there, it's not the end of the world. What you want to do here is like what I did here, is you early flip a little bit so that way you can get that position to work with. Here, I didn't really have a clean possession play that I was comfortable with, so I wanted to make sure I put myself in a spot that I was going to be able to do something with this. This is a separated moment. So when I talk about separation, what separation is when there is a moment of where the ball is actually quite literally separated, essentially, in the play from your opponent. It can happen to you as well, and you want to be aware of these things, especially when you're going for dribbles, air dribbles, resets, stuff like that. You want to be very, very cognizant of how much space there is right here, because this is a large gap. This is a challengeable gap is what I would call it. It is a challengeable gap, but you want to flip in a way that you can actually collect possession. So what you could do is, instead of front flipping, speed flip. You can do a speed flip there. You'll have a little bit more momentum there. It's more challengeable because remember, he's half flipping here. So he's going to be collecting momentum, but you'll already have momentum and you'll be able to challenge for that mid boost. Because of that, he was able to get free mid boost there. which meant I had to go for his corner boost, and I was out of position for me to be able to have any offense there. So again, that's a positional play right there. This, in some circumstances, can be really not the end of the world to go for, but the problem is when you end up doing it too early like I did, you get yourself bumped. Once you're bumped, you're fucked. That's essentially what happened there. These were just small mistakes that accumulated into essentially a goal. What you can do instead is, instead of like going for this, you could do a couple different things. One, you could stay grounded and kind of just force him to get into an awkward position. Or what you could do is, as he's getting ready to come up and you know he's getting that boost, turn back, insta flip over to this corner boost, and then play backboard here and just be ready for an air dribble play. Not a lot of people go for air dribble bumps in this rank. It's not always likely, but you do want to be careful about the air dribble bump. So you just want to be aware and watch for it. Watch for, like, typically the way to watch for an air dribble bump is if you challenge early, it's less threatening to happen because the more space you give, the more time to set up an air dribble bump. But what also is important is that your opponent, because they'll have more space to work with, you want to make sure you're in a position where you're challenging for the ball on the opposite side of where the opponent is. If you end up challenging on the same side, you put yourself in a position that's dangerous and they can score off of that. Yeah, so he gets a good bump there. Just have to be careful about the way I'm positioning. It's not a great position. In an ideal world, that pinch would have gone a bit more to the central side there. Not a great shot. Doesn't really do much, especially because he gets control. This is really bad. Don't make this mistake. This is a really, really big mistake that could very easily get you scored on. If the opponent saw this earlier, that's a whole open space of net. Do not slow down in this position right here. You can slow down a little bit if you're in a position where you're too far ahead and you're trying to kind of moderate or modulate the amount of space you have. But when you're kind of side by side like I am, do not slow down here trying to anticipate at 50, because that is how you get yourself scored on there. If the opponent realized that sooner, that whole net is open and there's no way I can get back there in time. I don't mind going for that play. I'm getting the contact there. That's important there. It just keeps the ball in a spot that I can play with. This is good. This is good patience from the opponent. If I got a bit more power on the flick, that would have been fine. A bump play also could have worked, but opponent did a good job defending there, just being really patient there, not going. So that's well done on their part. If you want to go for those pop plays, typically you'll see pros kind of make that shift with air roll. And what they're doing is they're trying to get a soft touch. I didn't do this well. That's something like ground to air dribble pops I need to get better with. This is something where it's a mechanical error, because what it is it's a decision-making error and also mechanical error. Because at this point here, you do have a free ball, but you could be patient here. You could boom it and go for the back ball read. That's an option. Another option is when you're going for this right here, this is where like an air roll left would be better. So an example of that is to end this part of the replay. So in a position like this, where you're on the left of the ball, what you want to be careful about is doing the air roll right, or just doing like direction air roll or non-directional air roll to the right there. Because what's going to happen is like where the ball and the car meet, it's going to push it right. But what happens is if you are here, right, and the ball is on your right like this, by going like this, you see how it creates an angle that can push the ball more to the left way? That's what you want. So that's just something to be aware of. These are small adjustments that you can make as a player. And again, these are all ways that you can improve. Nice. If you enjoyed watching this video, I'd like to ask you to hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Speed D-Man out.